Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I'll have a guest on from the LaGrange Police Department, and also I'll have a guest on from City of LaGrange. So stay tuned for those interviews in just a moment.
Hi, this is Bobby McClellan with the City of LaGrange Garage, here to talk to you about a few winter car care tips for your vehicle. I'd like to talk to you today about tire pressure. Tire pressure is very important. It helps you actually get traction with the road as you drive. As the weather gets colder, your tire pressure will decrease, so you need to check it on a regular basis. And to check your tire pressure, all you have to do is get a simple tester like this from any general parts store. They're not very expensive and very simple to use. And to find your specifications for your vehicle, you look inside your driver's door of your vehicle. There's an identification tag here, and it will tell you what the tire pressure should be. You also need to take a look at your tire tread, because your tread is what actually grips the road and gives you the traction you need so you don't slide or spin or have a problem or an accident. This right here is a good example of a bad tire. As you see, it's wore down and into the fabric already, and there's very little tread on the tire. A good way you can check your tires is to look for the wear indicator bars, like here and here. Once your vehicle tire gets down to those bars, it is time for you to replace your tire. This is a very simple car care tip from the City of LaGrange. These are just general care tips for your vehicle. Please refer to your owner's manual for any vehicle specifications.
Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have a guest on from the LaGrange Police Department. I have on Detective Chris Pritchett. Detective, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
It's always a pleasure to sit down with you and talk about things that's going on, because I know that you have an important job and a very exciting job, I know, down in the police department. But we're here to talk a little bit because I know the kids are getting excited about spring break, and we want them to be safe. Yep. And I know that you have a lot of information, valuable information, that you can help them with. But talk a little bit about your job down in the police department, first of all, Chris, if you don't mind.
I hold the rank of detective, but I serve as a crime and intelligence analyst right now. So I kind of have a little feedback into every case that kind of comes in, you know. I gather, I thrive on information is what it is.
That's right. Absolutely. The information, right?
That's right.
Well, very good. You know, we're coming up on spring break, and, you know, our kids are getting excited about going down to Florida perhaps, or other locations. And we want to make sure that they stay safe, and not only them, but the parents stay safe. And I know that you have a lot of valuable information that you can give them. Talk a little bit about spring break and what it means for the police department too, number one.
Usually law enforcement agencies across the country, come spring break, we're going to see an increase in crimes, and most of the time they're going to be alcohol related. I think it's important when folks go out of town that they have a plan in place. Little things like making sure that their home is secure, making sure wherever they go that they lock their vehicle. We find more and more entering autos where somebody's left their vehicle unlocked, and of course an unlocked vehicle is just a prime target for somebody to get inside of it. Of course, have your voicemail. I wouldn't tell anything on the voicemail about where you're going or that you're gone. Just your general voicemail that, you know, just leave a message. Consider using self-storage. Put some of your more valuable things. If you're going to be gone for an extended period of time, it's probably a good idea to take maybe, if you got a large TV, your computer, you know, just set it aside into a storage area. And have a trusted friend that can keep track of your house. Just keep a check on it. And make sure it's somebody that you really do trust, not just your, you know, your neighbor you see every once in a while.
Right.
You know, that's kind of maybe hit or miss. You know, have a good friend go over there and look after your stuff.
Very good.
And while you're gone and you're making your trip, always check your vehicle. Make sure that all the lights are working. Make sure it's been serviced. Tire pressure's good. Maybe have a little travel kit with you. Maybe some first aid items. Little roadside hazards while you're gone.
Okay. And very common sense thing, but a lot of times, as you're just sitting there talking about that, I know in one of my vehicles I have a mag flashlight, but the other one I don't have anything. So it's always good to just kind of have those roadside things just in the event that you need them,
That's right. And I recently purchased a vehicle, and right after making the vehicle purchase, it was going to the Walmart and getting everything I need to keep in it. all that roadside assistance stuff.
Very good. Let me ask you, because because Chris, I know in times past, and I think maybe some people still do, Facebook is such a popular thing in our society now, and people post what they ate for breakfast or everything. And I know that, when people, especially our young folks, when they get ready to travel out of town, they want to let their friends know, I'm going to Panama City or I'm going to the mountains or whatever the case. What is your recommendation on that?
Facebook is an awesome tool, but it can be easily manipulated. I don't recommend that you post where you're going and how long you're going to be gone. Leave that stuff private. Just keep that to yourself. That's about all I can say for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes, like you say, I think sometimes the social media is a good thing, and then it can turn out to be a bad thing.
That's right.
As well. And as kids are getting ready to gear up to go out of town to enjoy themselves, sometimes we see that alcohol becomes a part of their enjoyment. Talk a little bit about that for us, Chris.
Like I said, most of the crimes that are going to be committed during spring break are going to be alcohol related. The Journal of American College Health reported during spring break, the average male is going to drink about 18 drinks per day. And the average female will drink about 10. That's a lot of alcohol consumption. Alcohol lowers your inhibitions, and bad things start to happen. That liquid courage gets into people.
That's right.
So it's important that wherever you're going, that you know your alcohol laws. Plan ahead. Should you have too much to drink, think about how you're going to get from point A to point B. Once you've had that, you're over the limit.
Absolutely.
And always, never assume that whoever you're with is going to look out for your best interest. That's something to think about.
And that's so important too when you're saying never assume, because even though you may be there with friends or among friends, if they're inebriated and you're inebriated, then who's going to be looking after who. So you definitely, I think before we came on, I saw here, I know we have like the MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers and things like that, and we have, trying to have that designated driver. I saw one, I guess it's kind of like the 21st century for the kids, and it's called PASS, and it was saying person assigned to stay sober. And I think that's so important that as the young people and older people, are out and enjoying themselves, that there is that person that is still that designated driver to help make sure that they get home safe.
Oh yeah, always have somebody that can get you from point A to point B safely.
Absolutely. And, Chris, one time I think before that we were sitting down and talking, and the parties have changed from my day of going out and having fun and everything to today's parties. And one of the things I think you mentioned to us last time we were talking about these club drugs. Talk a little bit about that for us, if you don't mind.
Club drugs they're on the rise, and unfortunately they are on the rise with even middle school kids. So of course it's increasing as as they progress in age, they get into high school and college. We're talking about stuff like GHB, Rufinol, ketamine, and other synthetic drugs, methamphetamines, and LSD and acid. They have varying effects on different people. They can be very lethal if they are mixed with alcohol. And what else is in the club but alcohol? So you have the mix right there. More and more cases are showing up of kids that are ingesting a club drug and following it with some kind of alcoholic beverage, and they're dying. And that's what these things do. So it's really important to stay away from them. And when we talk about GHB and Rufinol, that's a sedative. So you're looking at those are your date rape drugs, because it's going to knock out whoever takes it. Very, very cautious when kids go into clubs.
Absolutely. And just again, common sense things. I've heard you talking about the pill parties where they come in, they just kind of everybody brings something and then dumping into this bowl, and you just kind of,
you never know what's in there.
Right.
And I'm hoping that our citizens are a lot smarter than I say some of the general ones where you just start randomly popping pills. That's just not a good idea.
Absolutely, never. And then, like you said, with the mixture of alcohol, that just intensifies everything, man. And you don't know what you're getting.
Yep.
And don't know what you're getting.
And our prime place that kids are going to end up going for spring break, what do you think it is? Where we are, they're going to go down to Panama City.
Right.
That's just
yeah.
That's just the way the cards usually fall because of our geographic location.
That's right, absolutely. And you know, as a matter of fact, I was talking to a young man the other day, and they were getting ready to go at the gym. He was telling me getting ready to go spring break, and he was headed down to Florida and stuff. So, you know, I just told him to be safe. And you one of the other things that you want to talk about is not only, you know, the less consumption of alcohol. That was kind of staggering to know that 18 drinks per day for males.
That is a lot of alcohol to consume in a day.
Absolutely. And even for females, you know, 10 drinks per day. And that, you don't know, and maybe mixing of drinks, beer and alcohol in some cases, and then in some cases might be mixing that with pills or drugs or other things of that nature. So our young people need to realize these are factual things that are happening, correct? How can parents help their teens as they get ready to plan for spring break?
The parent needs to understand, and they need to do a little research before somebody goes somewhere. I can tell you that in 2010, in the first 3 weeks of summer or spring break in Panama City Beach, they arrested 1,045 people, and half of that was for underage drinking. That's a lot of arrests to make in a 3-week time span in any city. You know. It's important for parents to understand when you're sending your teen out of town, have a plan in place. Make sure that they understand. Do some research. Know where they're going. Research the laws that are down in that particular area or up wherever they're going. Kind of parents are on the fence of maybe I shouldn't let them go. You know, that depends on the child. You know, if you have a child that's spent the last year being a juvenile delinquent, probably not a good idea to let him go on a spring break.
That's right, absolutely.
Just something to think about. But, you know, going out of town, have some, you know, is your budget right? You know, if your teen is to get into trouble, can you get them out of trouble? Maybe even if that means bonding them out of jail. I think that's the far end of the spectrum, what I would think about anyways. But again, you got to have some kind of budget. Try to avoid being the cool parent. You know, I think more and more parents today are, well, I don't want them to hate me. I want to be the cool parent. No. You're still a parent.
That's right.
And you got to be a parent. And make sure that the teen understands they are responsible for their actions down there, and you will help them in any kind of way. But it's still, you know, this is up to them. Chaperone, maybe not chaperone, depending on what's happening. You know, family vacations are still fun, and I have a small daughter, and I dread the day that spring break comes around.
That's right.
But she's going to be with Daddy. She doesn't know it yet, but she's going to be with Daddy.
And then I think in that too, Chris, you said the key word, underage drinking. And they have to understand that if they're not of legal age to drink, then they're underage and they run the risk of being charged.
That's right. That law has not changed across the United States.
That's right.
21 years and over. You have to. That's your age for drinking.
Absolutely.
Again, you want to find out what's your high crime area when you're out of town. What establishments should you avoid? What are there language barriers? That's something I think a lot of folks don't think about. But if they're traveling maybe down to Cozumel or somewhere in Mexico, you have somebody that can translate, and have a sit down. You know, sit down with the teens and explain to them. Maybe show them some of the research you've done. You don't want to go to this area down there because this is a high crime area according to statistics that I found online. Right. You know, share this information with them. But do your own research. You know, don't ask your teen to go out and do the research. You might get who knows what. And always have a contact, some form of contact that they can get in touch with you, and maybe have a regimen, a plan in place that every day at 1 o'clock you're going to call me.
Okay.
If I don't get that call, I'm making more calls. I'm going to find you wherever you are. So, you know, have something in place that they can check in with you. Okay.
Well, very good. You know, Chris, and I know you guys do a wonderful job down there making sure that our teams stay safe, and I greatly appreciate all that and appreciate you coming on today to sharing this information. And hopefully our teams will have a great spring break and a safe spring break. So, Detective, I'm going to thank you very much for coming on today and sharing this information with us.
Thanks a lot, Alton.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment.
This is Bobby McComb with the City of LaGrange Garage. I'm here to give you another winter car care tip for your vehicle. Now, Now, one thing you do need to check through the winter is your antifreeze. Your antifreeze keeps your vehicle from freezing during the winter. It's supposed to have a proper 50-50 mix between antifreeze and water. Very easy way to check it. One thing you need to look at is your coolant level to see how much antifreeze you have in the vehicle. Now, it's going to have a maximum or minimum level on your reservoir, and it's going to tell you how much you need to put in it. Another thing you need to check is the actual freezing point of your antifreeze. And you can do that with a simple tester you can get at any parts store. All you do is take the cap off of your radiator reservoir. On this model vehicle, we have a reservoir. Stick it down in and squeeze up your antifreeze into the tester. There will be a needle showing where your antifreeze test level is, and on this vehicle it's good to negative 45 degrees. Now, you need to have it up to about 0 degrees. You don't want it to be any higher than 0. If it's anything above 0, you need to flush out and refill your radiator with the proper level and type of antifreeze, and you can check your owner's manual for that. This is just another simple car care tip from the City of LaGrange. These are just general care tips for your vehicle. Please refer to your owner's manual for any vehicle specifications.
Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. My guest now is from Dashville LaGrange. I have the housing specialist, Amy Grantham. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you to talk a little bit about, I know the spring is in the air and people are getting out and about, probably out looking at homes and, you know, saying, oh, I would like to have a home like that, or various things of that nature. And you're a lady that can kind of help people to understand a little bit about home buying somewhat, and then also about maybe doing some of those little minor fixer-uppers.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about your role as the housing specialist, Amy.
Well, as the housing specialist at Dash, I help homeowners make repairs to their home. These are low-income homeowners having some difficulty getting a roof repair, or maybe their heating and air conditioning system went out, things such as that. And I've got programs available that provide funding to help these homeowners.
Okay, very good. You know, you're talking about maybe getting a roof repair or HVAC, and those are things that sometimes if you don't go ahead and take care of it up front, it can cost you a lot on the back end there.
Yes.
And you're talking about homeowners too. You have to be homeowners, I think, is the key there,
yes,
right? Okay.
Yes, it has to be whoever owns the property on the title must live in the house. So it is, you know, for homeowners, not rental program.
Okay.
And they do have to be low income.
Okay, all right.
And the other qualification is the home has to be considered suitable for rehabilitation.
Okay, and that's so important too.
Yes.
That's so important. Now, and I know that you guys have the rehab programs. Talk a little bit about some of the things that y'all have done in some of the areas there at Dash.
Well, rehab programs have been going for about 2 years now, primarily in the City of LaGrange, and we've completed roughly about 20 projects. The rehab programs can do repairs related to roofing, plumbing, electrical, heating and air, exterior siding, windows, floors. It's all necessary repairs. We are now able to do some weatherization and also some handicap accessibility repairs.
Okay, very good. And again, all these are very, you know, I call them those big ticket items.
Yes.
Those big ticket items, because again, if you don't take care of it up front, then it can cost you many a dollars on the backside there. And then in the rehab programs, I know that you all have funding that you like to get out to the general public about being able to assist them. You've already said that they have to be the homeowner.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about some of the other minimal requirements that the person have to meet.
Well, they do have to be a low-income household, and that's based on your household size. So if you're a household of 1, then your requirement for income would be lower than, say, if you were a family of 4 or 5. They could have a higher income and still qualify.
Oh, okay. And these incomes are determined by the HUD?
It is the HUD. It's the same income that is used for Section 8 housing.
Okay.
So it is HUD income requirements, and they change annually as the cost of living goes up from year to year. Then the income limits will go up as well.
Okay. And of course, if anybody has questions, because most of them probably think, well, do I qualify?
Yes.
Go ahead and give them a contact number that they can reach you.
They would reach Amy at Dash, and the number would be 706-298-0587.
Okay. All right. Very good. And you know, with the spring of the year coming and people, you know, out and about, and you know, of course, we have sometimes some kind of crucial summers here.
Yes.
So, you know, maybe someone needs a little bit of work. Is there a minimal amount, Amy, that they can qualify for?
Yes, we do require that you must need at least $1,000 worth of repairs. But by the time we get general contractors in there bidding on things, along with the subcontractors that go along with it, $1,000 adds up pretty quick.
Yes.
So most people can meet the minimum. It's the maximum that sometimes can be a problem. Okay. Generally, we do not spend more than about $20,000 to $25,000 on the construction itself. So of course, if the home needs more than $25,000 worth of work, then generally we can't do those homes.
Oh, okay. All right. And that's a very good thing to know. And you're talking about the other minimum qualifications. Low income is one.
Yes.
And have to meet that threshold.
Yes.
Be a homeowner. Are
Yes.
there other qualifications that they need to meet?
There can be other qualifications depending on which program. I have several programs right now, and some are a little stricter than others. So at this point, I'm just encouraging anyone that's of low income, that owns their home, needs some work done, and just needs a little help getting that work done, to give me a call at Dash at the number I had mentioned, and I can kind of direct them into which program would be best for them and go through what the rest of the qualifications may be.
Okay, very good. I think you guys have some presentations that are coming up too that
Yes,
you want to talk about, right?
I'm very excited. This is the first time that Dash has been able to take this program beyond the City of LaGrange. We are now expanding to include the City of Hogansville, unincorporated Troup County. A lot of folks call that out in the country.
That's right.
And we'll find out next month if we get to move into the city limits of West Point as well.
Okay.
So we're hoping to cover all of Troup County. This is working in partnership with all of the local governments of Troup County, and we've also partnered with LaGrange Banking Company to secure another funding source for the weatherization and handicap accessibility programs.
Well, very good. And you stated earlier in your conversation there that we mainly had concentrated just in the inside the city, so now we're branching out.
Yes.
So the residents of West Point and Hogansville and unincorporated Troup County can call in and possibly get services there as well.
Yes.
And very good.
Now, for it to be convenient to all of the people in the county, I do have 5 presentations scheduled. 2 of them are located in Hogansville, one at the library and one at the senior center. 2 of them are located within LaGrange, one at the library and one at the senior center.
Okay.
And I have one at the West Point Senior Center. That way it can be convenient regardless of where you're located in the county.
Very good.
And I am encouraging anyone that's interested in the program to give me a call and reserve a seat for one of those presentations, because we'll go over all of the qualifying information, all the details. I'll be available to answer questions. We'll have door prizes.
Oh yeah, that's always a treat.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would encourage anyone interested. Anyone that's interested on behalf of someone else. I get a lot of calls where it's, I know a neighbor, a friend, someone at church, they could use some help. Give me a call.
Okay, well, very good. You know, again, to be able to take it out into the various other cities and the unincorporated Troup County, hopefully, you know, people hearing this will definitely give you a call, because, you know, sometimes they may be sitting there in the chair and say, well, you know what, I wonder, do I qualify? Pick up the phone and give you a call.
That's it. You can't lose anything by calling.
That's right. Pick up the phone and give a call. Because, you know, and having been with Dash at some point in time, I do see the benefits of the programs, and to see and to be able to assist someone, you know, maybe get that roof fixed or get a new HVAC, or, you know, maybe just other little minor things. It just so much for that person's self-esteem.
Well, one thing I've always told clients when they call, or, you know, potential clients, it's not going to get any better until you do something. So the longer you sit there and wonder and wait, the worse the condition's going to get.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then again, too, it's going to cost even more.
Exactly.
And you don't want to go over that $25,000 threshold you mentioned there either.
Yes.
Now, and I know that, as you guys, you talked about the work, type of work that you guys have done. You've done rehab. You've done minor rehabs to a complete rehabilitation in some cases, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we do. I think DASH has been well known in the hillside community of LaGrange for basically taking homes that were extremely deteriorated and just ripping them all the way down to the studs. That's more of a reconstruction, very substantial rehabilitation. And that's not really the purpose of this particular program or the programs that I have available right now. This is really geared more toward the person where, for example, your heating and air system just went out and you don't have the money to replace it. And as you were saying earlier, Georgia has brutal summers.
That's right.
As you were saying about sometimes a roof leak can turn into more, there are times when your floor can start to deteriorate and rot away. You can have problems with your walls because the roof has leaked so badly and caused damage over time. We can fix those. If you're having electrical issues, it seems like everyone's got that outlet that shorts out or the light that just quit working mysteriously. That's the kind of thing that we can go in and help out with.
Very good. And those are all very important. And I know that you all don't do this alone.
No.
I know that there are great contractors out there that kind of help you all to bring these things to fruition.
Yes.
And I understand that you are in the need of some contractors as well. Talk about that a little bit for us. Well, what are you looking for?
I'm very proud of the contractors that we work with, but unfortunately for me, and good news for them, everything's picking up with the construction business, and some of my contractors are finding larger, better projects to work on, and so now I'm in need of filling some shoes. I'd like to have a larger pool of contractors to work with. I love the idea of working with contractors that are local. It keeps that money in our local community and it keeps those jobs available here as well. That's important to me. And so right now I'm looking for available general contractors that would be interested in bidding and working on these projects. They would be responsible for managing the construction aspect of the project and working with the subcontractors, at times lead abatement contractors. For minimum qualifications, they have to, of course, have a current, valid Georgia contractor's license. They've got to have general liability insurance and workers' comp insurance. And they've got to have the financial backing to be able to carry a project of $25,000 through its completion.
Okay. And if they are interested in perhaps getting on that contractor's
call
list,
Amy at Dash.
There you go. Very good. Just so in case they missed it, give them that number one more time.
The phone number is 706-298-0587.
All right. Well, Amy, you guys do a wonderful job over there. We've seen, the hillside area transform, and we're looking forward to maybe some of the residents on the West Point, Hogansville, and unincorporated area, definitely giving you a call and taking full advantage of these programs that you have to offer. And I want to thank you for coming on and sharing this information.
Thank you, Alton.
All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment.
If you're looking for dependability, the City of LaGrange service on sanitation are just flawless. Can't ask for anything better. It's 5 minutes of not being able to throw away trash can lead to a lot of buildup. And the solution to make sure that didn't happen was basically keeping a spare container on site, so that eliminates the downtime to probably maybe a minute. In our business, it's no excuses. We have to be able to get this in and out no matter what the situation is. And the City of LaGrange has been a great partner to help us accomplish that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been Detective Chris Pritchett from the LaGrange Police Department, as he gave us some spring break safety tips. So make sure that you enjoy spring break, but also be safe. Also, I had on from LaGrange, Amy Grantham, the housing specialist, and she talked about programs that she has available for residents not only of the City of LaGrange, but also West Point and Hogansville and unincorporated Troup County. So give her a call. Who knows, you may just qualify. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed those interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.